alhamdulillah, they're Muslim. We did that series, the stories of the prophets for the children. How many of you heard about it? Did you see it? Did you like it? Would you like us to do more like that? Dr. Zakir Naik has asked me to come back to India again this year for that November conference that he holds. And while we're there, he's talking about what kind of programs we should do. You should really let us know. If you have a chance, write it down for me right now while I'm talking. And before I leave, be sure you give it to some of the brothers. And put my name, just put to Yusuf, and then give us the suggestion, what you think we should do. Because I'm asking everybody wherever I go, help us, with the programs where we need to go next. What area we need to deal with. What about children? What about women? What about the dawah? What subjects we need? I need to know from you if you do that. Do that now while I'm talking, please. The subject that we're talking about right now, though, is calling people back. But back to what? As you know, the Prophet ﷺ told us something amazing. He said that every child is actually born on the fitra, the natural inclination of Islam. Now, I found that amazing. Because to say that the children are born perfect, to say that they're born in Islam, to say that they're born on this Aslama, is the opposite of what I grew up hearing in the church. We were told, and I've seen it in every single Bible I've ever read, same thing, book of Genesis, that all children are born in sin. That the children are born in the sin of their parents. And it's passed on generation after generation. That's in Genesis, the first book. In Islam, we're saying that the children are born innocent, not guilty. They're saying guilty, we're saying innocent. What do you think? The common sense. Let us talk to these atheists, because this is the problem. Especially when we see so many Christians today are becoming atheists. Hindus today are becoming atheists. Buddhists today are becoming atheists. The metaphysicians are becoming atheists. And unfortunately, even from the Muslims, we see them becoming atheists. Is that serious? Well, once they go, there's no getting them back. Because they feel like they've been tricked. Once they say, okay, this religion doesn't work for me, I quit. Then when you go to them and tell them, wait, I have a religion, shut up, get away from me. No, I don't want to hear it. But we're really, no, I don't want to hear it. And that's what's happening. As long as they believe something, there's some hope. But when they don't want to believe anything, that's when they turn to the alcohol, the drugs, the sex, and the things that they do. And by the way, the more they do any of it, the worse they feel. Because they're never going to find what it really takes. I was remembering that some years ago, when I was a young man, well, that's a lot of years ago, when I was a young man, a friend of mine asked me a question. He said, what is it that everybody wants? I said, money, of course. That's easy. Next question. He said, no, not everybody wants money. I said, what? He said, there are people that money isn't what they're after. He said, I'm saying, what is it that everybody wants? I said, a woman. He said, no, women don't want women. I said, oh yeah. He said, can you tell me? I said, well, if it's not money, it's not a car. He said, there are people that can't drive a car, they wouldn't want a car. I said, are you sure everybody wants it? He said, yes. I said, anything to do with religion? He said, no. I said, what is it that everybody wants? Peace. There's not a human being on the earth except that what they're doing, they're hoping will bring them peace. And there's only one way of life out there that is guaranteed to bring us peace in this life and peace in the next life. And you already know what it is. Allah has already given it to you. And it is a ni'mah. The biggest of favors of Allah, and as Allah said, Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum Islam dina. On this day have I perfected for you your way of life. Conferred upon you my greatest of favors, and have chosen for you to submit to me in al-Islam. The kind of peace that comes with Islam is not the kind that we greet each other with. When we greet each other, we say, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. But we never greet each other with Islam alaikum, do we? No. Because the peace that's in the word Islam is something much more comprehensive, much more specific to a point. Because the word Islam doesn't translate to English. There's never been a translation in the English language of the Quran that included a translation of this word. They always just said Islam. Islam is an Arabic word. If you're translating, why didn't you translate that? Because they can't. They will translate or mistranslate a lot of words. Deen, they call religion. That's wrong. Iqra, they say it means read. That's wrong. The word Allah, they say it means God. That's not enough. But at least they're trying. But when you come to this word Islam, they don't even translate it. So how is it a translation if you leave the main word untranslated? Aslama is the verb coming from silm, sin, lam, mim. And the beauty behind it is that it takes 5 words in English, all working at the exact same time to attain this state, this verb, this action. And it's more a state of mind before it's a state of action. The body has to do something, but not until you have this in place. Probably you guys know it better than I do, but I'll repeat it anyway. The first word is submission. Actually, surrender. First word, surrender. Now, you know surrender, right? Surrender, give up. We Muslims, we're getting really good at that. You know, Afghanistan, Iraq, places like that. Airport security. We're good at surrender. Oh, yeah. Submission is the next word. To submit to Almighty Allah on His terms. Doing what He wants us to do. And then the next word. Obedience. To really obey the commandments of Allah. And that's Islam. The fourth word is sincerity. And this, above all things, proves Islam cannot be spread with a sword. Islam cannot be spread by a sword. La ikraha fid-din, because you can't force people to be sincere. Can you force people to be sincere? Huh? So how could you force anybody to be a Muslim? You can't force people to do Islam out of their heart. And what's the fifth word? Peace. Salam. So salam is in Islam, but Islam is more than salam. So the next time somebody tells you Islam is peace, tell them to go get some education. It's a lot more than that. The peace in Islam only comes after the person has done the other 4 words, because they all have to be there together. The surrender to Allah, the submission to His commandments, the obedience to the